that moment when you're literally doing nothing while you're experimenting with a new setup and your Avi's mouth is just going "Ah!" Accurate. Right, I guess while I'm sitting here. Donna Kamada! My name is Sage Blake. I'm a wanderer, storyteller, artist and mature, and this is, well, it's been a bit. Put simply, it's been a bit since the last time I've done something, like, not stream related. And honestly, I have a few reasons why. And the first of them is addressing the massive, absolutely honkin' massive elephant in the room. Now let's try the hard mode. Why not? Okay, basic tutty. So circle, square, those two are rising attack. Okay, this is kind of complicated, actually. Huh. Okay, I think I get it. Right. This is mostly to address a couple elephants in the room, so to speak. Because to start with, let's do something odd. To start with, I fully recognize that I've been derelict on updates in terms of declassifying VODs and everything. And I have a few things that I can probably talk about, just mention on that. The first of which being the giant Krang in the room. There are multiple things that I could point to as to why it takes so long to declassify VODs. One of those items is, honestly, the editing time. I know there's no real way for me to dance around it, especially in terms of the game clearing projects. They take a lot of time in the editing room. Put simply, for every 5-hour or 6-hour VOD that I have on the Twitch end, I delete about a third of that, if not half of that. Just trying to make things watchable and not boring to look at. And that's not easy. Especially since this also cleanly links into the second issue. Donk. Okay, that's kind of cool. She's, like, taking photos of them and everything. Right, this leads into the second issue, which is mental health. The tried and true excuse that most people seem to give for one reason or another, and let me just say, it is at least somewhat legitimate, because... And this isn't just me showing blatant bias to my field, because, again, I'll remind, I work in the mental health field, specifically drug recovery, and it is not an easy field to work in. We go entire days, entire months, entire years, even, at the absolute bottom of our morale and everything in between. Like, to put this into perspective, the company that I work for, we have... They've effectively put up an entire policy last year to waive the grace period on sick hours. Because how our job works is, like, we get sick hours by working. There's no dedicated vacation time or anything like that. It's, we work, we accumulate hours, we spend those hours on a break when we need to. But enough employees refuse to call out that more often than not, people just stockpile ridiculous amounts of hours to the point that they just can't use them. Part of it is a lack of staffing, part of it is more than that. Just, it's a stressful field. Again, I'll remind, we're working with people with very finicky mindsets and mentalities, to the point that in many cases, we get sick, specifically from the clientele we work with. That should say a lot. Okay, you aren't bad to work with. Band 10 with that. No, try again. Bonk. Oh, really? Nothing hiding in there? Stressed clients means Raki becomes very stressed very quickly. And this leads to a sort of anhedonia when it comes to the editing process. Specifically because it's stressful at work, I need time to de-stress, and honestly, the way I de-stress is not just drawing, but also gaming. That's why I've been derelict in... Well, that's one of a few different reasons why I've been derelict in my duties. Specifically because, oh, hey, I'm trying to make sure that I can do what I want to do without thinking the world sucks. And the world sucks. I'm just gonna come out swinging and say it. But it doesn't get any better without people like me properly trying to help make it suck less. Dedicated people who give a shit about how people feel. Funny that. Nice setup you got here. I figure... Actually, I should also mention, like, the third reason why it just takes so damn long to edit things. I just plumb forget. No lie, I have had many instances where the creative juices are just completely gone. I do all my editing, upload the thing to YouTube, and I forget that, oh wait, it's on YouTube, yeah, but it's not declassified specifically because, like, when you upload something, it goes to a private video. And on top of that, you have to, you know, name the thing. Believe it or not, a lot of the titles I use for streams and whatnot don't exactly make it into actual YouTube videos. And that's a shame. Maybe I'm playing too passively. But then again, I'll get to that bit of commentary. But first, addressing this point. Whoop! Mic drop, nice. Right, honestly, I just plain forget sometimes, and I need to be coaxed back into the cesspool of YouTube just to re-upload. Just to, like, make sure it's there and name it, get into its playlist, etc., etc. It's a pain in the ass, actually. That's just why it's been slow lately, and again, I'm really sorry about that. And honestly, while I do talk about this type of thing on streams a lot, I figure, I figure, like, approach it this way. One, because I haven't really recorded anything dedicated for YouTube in at least a year now, and honestly, I want to do this again every so often. Not frequent, but anytime there's, like, something interesting that I don't think would work well as a stream necessarily, I want to be able to just do for this type of thing. Maybe I'll make it in the future where, like, I'll have extra guest commentators and whatnot, but at least for right now, the most I'm approaching this as is, as you can see here. Right. Oh, jeez. I should have probably mentioned at one point, this is, was it Shredder's Revenge? I don't remember. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, a revival thing that .mu worked on and released a bunch of detailed media to explain the process of how complicated it was to make this damn thing. Oh, nice. Tiny pizza. Eat that. But I deliberately waited for quite a while, actually, to pick this up. Only recently did I pick it up, and even then, it was at least partially kicking and screaming. Just saying, when I see that a game goes on sale for, like, only 30% repeatedly, that frustrates the hell out of me, and especially if it's something that I've been wanting to poke at for the longest and haven't gotten the chance to for that specific reason. Because let's face it, and I've already covered this already, I'm cheap as hell. I'm a miser, I really can't help it after a point. I specifically wait until big sales to pick up a good chunk of the games that I want to play for streams and whatnot, and I am more than fine waiting years at a time for any of the games that I want to be able to pick up. Whoop, nice try. I could just let you ride. I don't need to punch at you, right? I need to punch you, don't I? Oh dear. Fine then. Let's punch you. There you go. I at least wanted to let those guys live their best life, but as it turns out, I'm not allowed to do that, because, foot soldiers. Nice try. Whee! But yeah, essentially, this is a revival project by .mu for classic TMNT. I don't have as much experience with TMNT as you might think I might. Ow! Piss! Like, the most exposure I had was the mid-2000s TMNT, you know, with, like, the time travel and that type of thing. I don't know how best to explain it. I never really got to experience the classic Turtles that people from, like, the 90s are familiar with, because, well, that wasn't what I watched or had available at TV. Last I checked, I was born in 1996. Ha! Rude! Just for that. I'm eating you. This is very much a button masher. I do like how spammy these combos can get. Doink. Nice try with that. And I've learned my lesson from the last life. Don't fall into the abyssal black there. Eh. Is this just, like, something you could hit around? Does this even do anything? I wonder if it's, like, something you could dunk enemies with. I think it is. How about that? Alright, that at least eliminates one of you guys. I hear that these things are really annoying, and I'm already feeling it. And of course I die right before the health. Blarg. It's fine, we'll make it work. Besides, I'm a bit of a grappler when it comes to fighting games anyway, so... Or, I should say beat-em-ups. Yeah, like, I think I mentioned at one point, it's been a while since I've done anything dedicated to YouTube only, and I figure, hey, if I'm going to be experiencing this thing for the first time period, I might as well just have it be for the YouTube side, because why not? Not to mention, and this is by no criticism or anything like that of the Twitch audience, just after a point you gotta get sick of noms. Or noms being integrated into a game clearing. Ow. So you kind of want to relive every so often the good old days. The days when we didn't have integrated throwing system in streams and had to live off of commentary and be absolutely bad at commentary. Because let's face it, I'm bad at commentary. I try my damnedest more often than not, but I'm not good at it. And I also occasionally have my moments where I get critical existence failure. This is the most pointless thing in existence. I barely got to do shit with that. It felt like... The way I'm playing this is probably irking someone out there, but you know what? I don't fucking care. Yeah, that's a sick ride. Nice try. Nice try. Now! As usual in games like this, dive kicks are overpowered. Ow! Okay, maybe I'll let you have that one. Maybe I shouldn't have picked the hard mode. But this is meant to be like a video journal practically anyway. I guess address a few other things too while I'm at it. I've repeatedly felt like my style of commentary just clashes with streaming every so often. Specifically because I run out of things to talk about really quickly. I'm no Nathaniel Hoover. Much as I may compare myself to him on occasions with mannerisms and commentary style, I lack the punnery, I lack the show-offery, and in many cases, I not only don't know what to talk about, but I also can't talk about it. Again, I'll remind, my field operates on HIPAA, and as a result, I can't really share much information on clients or anything like the like without endangering their livelihoods. That means I lose out on a lot of interesting opportunities to discuss things, specifically because, oh hey, something personal was mentioned about X or Y or Z was a client, and as a result, everything goes to the wayside. And to end with that, what's also helping and not helping, and I also recognize that it is unfortunately interrelated with the aforementioned issues with editing things and making sure they get done on time. I've been trying to interact with more streamers and more frequently. Supposedly, like, creators live and die off of their interactions with other people, so that's why I've been trying so vehemently to talk with as many people as possible, get to know as many people as possible, if I can, at least, and generally participate in social events. You might have noticed... Ow! Piss! I don't know if he has his own VOD channel or whatnot. He probably does, but you might notice at one point that my Avi, or likeness thereof, came up on one of Madowcat's streams. He's another streamer, around 1,000. Anyway, nice blue. And eat you real quick. Played a social deduction game known as Blood in the Clock Tower. I have been repeatedly showing up on RT's end, because, well, one, I'm moderator for him, and two, I've been trying to have more social interactivity, and honestly, VR chat is rife with opportunities for that type of thing. Especially since a good chunk of the people on that end anyway are people from areas like Terran Crimson's Discord and streaming area, and many others. I've also mentioned at one point that I am a part of an unofficial stream team spearheaded practically by Spoony, yet another very well-known horror game streamer, and part of it is I'm trying to get to know how to talk with people. Part of it is I'm trying to figure out how to expand the streaming side of things. Part of it is I've been very much a person that likes experimentation and the scientific process and that type of thing, which has occasionally bled over to my streaming, where I occasionally mess around with streaming at different times or otherwise streaming different games than my usual niche. And on top of that, I don't exactly know what my niche is, per se. Like, I know bits and bobs, I focus a lot on games that require a decent amount of thinking. And I constantly pitch messages related to, hey, maybe people should be using critical thinking more. Ow. But even with that, a good chunk of the games I've been playing aren't necessarily thinking games or anything like that. And honestly, the first thing that comes to a person's head when they think, oh, hey, this game requires you to use your brain to think, is either a puzzle game, which that I've never been good at puzzles, ow, or alternatively, a strategy RPG or 4X strategy game, which requires a lot of decision-making and micromanaging, and honestly, I'm still sitting on my copy of Stellaris. There, I said it. Ow. Wow, I'm pretty bad at this. But then again, this is my first time trying this. Right, I've been trying to make my face a little more known in more places, and as a result of that social expansion, which, mind you, I think it's kind of a miss, but I figure I should at least try it. I also run into issues with... sometimes I don't necessarily get along with some of the places I... Actually, no. I mostly get along well with most of the places that I sandwich myself in, for one reason or another. And part of that is just affable nature. I understand how people think really well, and as a result, I gel. Doesn't necessarily mean that the places that I gel with are a match for me. I don't know. I can't really say. But I have firmly entrenched myself in Tay's end. Not like that, you perv. And that's another thing to bring up. And it's a bit of a weird situation. I don't know how much of a clearance I can have on the commentary for this. Oh, jeez, come on! But at least for a month, Tay effectively stopped streaming, and you wouldn't think that had affected me, not monetarily or anything like that, but it did get me thinking. For streamers, it seems to be a common issue that after a period of running the creative juices, doing streams and whatnot, you burn. So how exactly do you address that burnout? And I don't feel like there's an easy solution to that question. Or at least, not without going against some of the very tenets that streaming predicates off of, or streaming in the current day and age, at least. Having a dedicated schedule, having dedicated everything. Having a dedicated schedule, having a bunch of creative resources, having people to game with, the interactions with the audience. And this isn't yet another one of the reasons why I figured have this video journal thing effectively, instead of milling my mouth about this on stream. I probably will at some point, because knowing me, I can't shut up about shit. But I figure, if I'm going to be mentioning this type of subject in a medium, then it might as well be its own dedicated thing, so that way people have something to reference, just in case they want to, I don't know, witch hunt me later. Because let's face it, the current day and age is just rife with witch hunting and false accusations! Jeez, you break grip really fast. I feel like there should have been health here. Yeah, I think I'm getting a little too aggressive. What the hell? Oh, piss! Seriously? There's like no invincibility there. Getting a little too aggro. It'd be accurate if I ended it with a dive kick. Eat that. Okay, this is kind of cool. I don't like the rap, though. I'm sorry, I've never been a fan of rap. Nice try. Oh, where'd you come from? Okay, this is a cool stage. Can I get some health, though? Okay, I guess I got no health. Excuse me, Steam is online. Try again. Oh, wow, I can feel the lack of speed on Splinter here. But honestly, that lack of speed hasn't been much of an issue for me in terms of character. If anything, I prefer a character with good reach. Is headline for you. Yeah, I might revisit this game as like its own dedicated stream at one point, because I do recognize beat-em-ups like this live and thrive off of multiple people playing them. The only issue is who would be around to run a match with. Just saying. Because I took one look at my Steam friends list, and there's only like 2 people there who have this game. One of which is Geese, who I'm pretty sure he'd be down, but at the same rate, 1, I'm a nobody, and 2, last I checked, he's in Canada, on a 3-hour time difference, and there is no way in hell. Actually, maybe it's on Xbox Live. I have no idea. That's also been something I'm thinking about, but I'm honestly gonna consult people on the stream anyway. Because I do get, Steam is my medium of choice at this rate. And there's been the eternal debate of, hey, if you play games on Steam, then you don't necessarily own them, and that by itself is its own frustrating issue. Come on. But at the same rate, I am, 1, not too much of a fan of Microsoft, and 2, I'm still a proponent of actually owning proper games, if that makes sense. I'll go on my way of buying a game as opposed to, renting it or anything like that. And part of that was specifically because we didn't really do rentals as a kid. So I don't exactly know the etiquette / experience of that, if that makes sense. Nice try. Okay, I think I'm liking Splinter. Ah! I didn't realize I recovered that quickly. Oops. Yeah, another reason why I'm doing the YouTube end of this instead of Twitch, at least for this, is I don't know whether I didn't exactly know whether I'd like this game or not, because I recognize that this has a pretty big fan base and everything, and I'm still of the type where, like, I would rather, if I'm going to be playing a game, I enjoy it in some way, shape, or form instead of, like, being dedicated to mockumentary. Because, sure, it's easy to poke fun at things. I'm just gonna come out and say it. It's easy to poke fun at things. But at least for something like a beat-em-up, I prefer to be respectful of the genre, if that makes sense. At that, I also want to test out a slightly different commentary style, actually have dedicated written things I want to talk about and try to review them. Because, believe it or not, I have given up scripting. At least in terms of things that I do on the YouTube side, if anything nowadays, I've given way to the whole, hey, it's blind. I'll have more honest opinions and they'll come more easily at that point. Type of mindset, if that makes sense. And while that is true, sometimes you want to do a scripted video, and at least in this case, while it isn't necessarily scripted, I at least wrote bullet point notes of the things that I want to talk about, and I at least hit them. All I'm gonna say is, commentary is hard. You see in most, like, YouTube videos, especially popular ones, that the commentators end up going into a whole bunch of jokes and a whole bunch of anachronisms and other. And I'm here to break the reality. Yeah, the reason why they're able to do that is because they either have a massive amount of practice or they spend a ridiculous amount of time scripting. Point of the matter is, scripting makes it easier for a person to keep track of everything they want to talk about and when they want to bring it up. Oh, come on! Maybe I should be using the evasive action more. I didn't even realize that was evasive action. Did the tutorial go over it? I think it did, and I just wasn't paying attention because I was so caught in the commentary. That's another thing. One of the reasons why commentary is so annoying and difficult is because, more often than not, people end up missing details specifically because they're doing commentary. It's already bad enough trying to play a game and look moderately skilled. Then again, if you're someone like, I don't know, Markiplier or whatnot, you probably can get away with not having skill. Ah! Okay, I deserve that one. That's the last time I call out a creator for not being creative. Oh, who am I kidding? I'm gonna do that 24/7. That's my brand at this rate. Mindless. Make fun of everything. Because the world is rife with things to poke fun at and otherwise lambast. How else are you gonna punch yourself in the face? Well, otherwise, step 1, close fist. Step 2, yeet fist. Kids say that, right? He says as a 26-year-old. Then again, I have repeatedly, I want to say, given off the feel of someone who's mid-30s practically, with some of my takes and opinions and views of the world. Hey, look at the number of that car. Case in point, I was pretty sure I could have had a joke there, and I completely botched it. Donk. Really? A dive kick didn't kill you? Interesting. Next time I have to mention something about Foot Clan, it might as well be about motorcycle treads. Whoop. Ah. Hey, there's an achievement. Cool. Hey, there's an achievement. The name of that particular achievement was Blake fails at everything. Bleh. Yeah, especially with game clearing, I end up sometimes giving off the feel of someone who is a lot more educated about things that they're talking about than they actually are. Here to break the reality on that, I do plenty of research, and it surprises me, honestly, that some gamers, sorry, not all, just some, aren't as willing to research things that pertain to their game clearing or otherwise the games that they play. Maybe I'm a bit on the strange end, because I'm so used to analysis and research in general. Bear in mind, the field's psychology is just rife with, hey, you want to make X or Y or Z claim? Then you gotta prove it. It's a science field, believe it or not. Okay, so I'm just gonna have to get good at the habit of using the evade button anytime I remotely sense danger. I'm not used to that. Again, I'll remind, I didn't grow up with anything turtles. I understand these are classics, but growing up, my priority was Streets of Rage. Not to mention bullet grazing is kind of my thing. Not necessarily dodging, but close misses. Let you do your pineapple shtick. Just keep getting dodgy. Really? A sliver? I'm actually mad about that. Salty run back. But yeah, I'm not sure how well it's actually being conveyed, just how well or how poorly I know my information. Because honestly, I've run the experiments, and in some cases, it feels like all the research I go isn't really paid attention to. But then again, I am also operating under the assumption that silence is a bad thing, and that's not necessarily the case. I especially should know this, knowing my field is psychology, because there are many instances in my field where silence is a good thing. With counseling services, a therapist explicitly maintains silence, specifically so they can hear more of the person that is more from the person that they're speaking to. Essentially, it's a statement of go on without saying go on. It encourages a person to speak. Ow. I could have sworn that hit you, but okay, I guess I missed. Evidently, the phrase go clubbing doesn't exactly apply to Master Splinter's cane. Well, I think I just said why right there. It's a cane, not a club. Ow! And speaking of club, can I not be invited back to that one? Oh, taunting actually improves the gauge. Good to know. Ow. I mean, I deserve that, but ow. Oh wow, it just builds an immediate bar. That's very handy. Because I think that's my bigger emergency button more than the actual emergency button. Because case in point, I get a little too heated in the battle, and I forget that it's even there, and there you go. Oops. Hot! Great, now I have to deal with these nerds by myself. Or without the explodey barrel. Well, knowing what I know, maybe I should use hypers a little more. Crap, I didn't mean to taunt right there. Whoop! Imagine, you're kicking a rhino's ass, and then you just suddenly break into meditation in front of them. How disrespectful. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. I deserve that. I think I've covered most of the points I want to cover. But yeah, I do plan on bringing this game into stream at some point, and actually have people to play with, probably. But at least for right now, I at least want to take a brief look at it, just to get a feel for it. I do like this. And not to mention, again, it also gives a little more clarity on what I've been trying to do and how I've been trying to do it. I have been slowly trying to catch up with all the editing work, but again, it takes a while. Please, just bear with me. I will get it done. The last thing I want is to leave things up in the air. It's just gonna take time. Otherwise, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, stay warm, and most importantly, actually, stay cool. And get yourself some goddamn pizza. Till again, dale kitne.